Hello, hello, hello. Patricia here, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, but more specifically in beautiful Alaska on this nice spring day. And we are going to make this card. Now, interestingly enough, I already made this card for you, even on video. Yeah, didn't work so well. So we're going to do it again, but how cute is that? Let's see how to do it. So, we are going to do it again. And that's okay. It happens. All right, let's pull in our stamps that we want to use. These are for the vegetables that we're not going to use that one. That's okay. And we'll use this, but we'll use it in a minute. These are the vegetables that come in Storybook Garden. I love this entire suite. Whoops, there's Arched Wishes. I was looking for that earlier. Storybook Life and Storybook Friends. Now, Storybook Garden Patch and Storybook Friends are part of the suite, and then Storybook Life is part of the scrapbooking suite that you can also get. We are also going to use everyday arches. Okay, so what we're going to do now is stamp each of our vegetables. Let me find my ink. Where did it go? Here it is. Like I said, I've already done this and it didn't record like it should have, so we're going to do it again, but that's okay. All right, so I've got all of these put on block. I am going to stamp them on my just half a sheet of white cardstock so that it will go through my trimmer. Through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I had two of these on the same one. Don't ask me why, but I'm going to put them on separate ones. My pitchfork, my strawberries. There we go. Let's see. Strawberries, radish, pitchfork. Here we go. Oh, my pots. There we go. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm missing something. What am I missing? My carrot. Where is my carrot? I have a carrot here. Oh, no, that's a trowel. I already did the trowel. Where is my carrot? I just had it. Hold on, let me find my carrot. Well, of course, it's sitting right here. It has a lot of ink on it. I think I stamped several of those. Ah! And I didn't do good on that one. So there's my carrot. All right, so I have all of these stamped. Now, the reason I stamped them in Memento ink, and this is not a regular Memento pad. I bought a white empty pad. It had an extra white ink in it. I'll just save that to use on my other white pad. And I used the Memento ink refill and put it in this because I love the way that stamps. So now we are going to use, we've got a whole bunch, let me find them, of blends. Okay, I did have them all nice and organized into their colors and all of that. When you buy blends, okay, let me start at the beginning. When I first started using blends, to be honest, I wasn't sure I was going to like them. I'm not really a colorer per se, and I am not good at it. And I'm not a colorer, or at least I didn't used to be a colorer because I wasn't good at it. Okay. So I was kind of like, why should I get these? But then I got about 5 sets, which means I got 10 markers. When you buy a set, it will come in a light and a dark. Okay, every one of these, or most every one of them, comes in a light and a dark. This is Cajun Craze. This is the one we are going to use first. We're going to use it on our pot. So let me move everything aside, pull in my pot, and I'll show you what I do with it. So I almost always start with my light color. Now, another feature of these, you'll notice this has a marker end and this has a paint end. And I almost, like I said, always start with the light and I start with the paint end, depending on what I'm coloring, of course. But I'm going to start, in this case, I'm going to start from the edge and flick in. Okay, so you see how I'm starting on that edge, and I just sort of flick. Let me make sure this is the light. Yeah, it is. Looks kind of dark. But I'm going to flick in to the middle. And I kind of want to go a distance. Here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and, for the most part, I want to meet in the middle as I'm flicking. Now, I don't always, and you'll notice right there, I just left a tiny little bit of white. Let me put you down closer to it so you can see better what I'm doing. So I'm flicking in, and sometimes, like I said, I'll leave a little bit of white, not often, but some, because if you notice how light hits objects, it often doesn't meet in the middle, in a sense. Okay, now here I've got more area to cover, and I'm just flicking in from the edge as I look around the camera. And right here, I got a little tiny bit off of the pot. It's not much. Normally, I wouldn't worry about it, but because I did it, I am going to bring my color lifter in here and lift that out. And you'll notice after a couple of seconds, that color just disappears. Okay, so again, I'm going to start. Do want to make sure I still have my light, and flick in. Now, to be honest, I could draw a line straight down here so I don't get too close to the edge, and just flick in. Okay. There we go. And I'm pretty much meeting in the center, not entirely. Now, I am going to take my dark pumpkin. Oh, no, I want Cajun Craze. Where did my Cajun? Here it is, hidden by my camera. Again, I'm going to go to the paint end, and I'm going to flick from the outside. And notice how I'm using the side. I am not poking down. I am using the side of that brush and flicking toward the middle. Okay, do it all the way up on all of those pots. I'm using the side of the brush and flicking in. And there we go. Now, by the magic of video, I have another one that's already done. And you can see, there we go. Isn't that just too clever? And they look so real. I am amazed at how much these alcohol blends, markers, make things look amazingly-ish real. They don't look like they're colored. Okay, let's also do our carrot. Now, we won't do this one because I didn't do a good job of stamping it, but we're going to come in with our light and the brush end, light marker, and we're going to fill in the whole thing on this one. Then we're going to come in with the marker end of our pumpkin pie, and we're going to draw over the lines that the artist put in there for us. Okay, so that was my pumpkin pie and Cajun Craze. I also have 3, let's go up just a little bit so you can see this better. Oops, it's not wanting, there we go. Sorry about that, too much movement there. There we go. Okay, I've got 3 different greens. Now, 2, 2, and 2. Okay, you do not necessarily have to do it with 3 different greens. And the reason I'm using 3 different greens is because I've got 3 different plants, and greens are all different. I'm going to start first. This is my light old olive and my dark old olive. And again, I'm going to start with the light, and I'm going to use, to be honest, I don't care which leaves I do, but I am going to go in here and fill in pretty much the whole leaf. I might leave a little bit of white in there somewhere. Okay. Fill in pretty much all of it. I'm not going to color all of this. And I do need to color the tips on my little strawberries. Okay. Now, I'm sure, noticed, let's come in with that marker, that the tops of strawberries are often white. So, that's what we're going to do. There we go. We are going to take our, let's see, what color is this? I've got 2 different reds. I've got real red. I'm going to go with the painterly end again. And I'm going to color the bottom of my strawberry with the light. And I'm going to leave a little bit of white at the top. Okay. And the smaller the strawberry is, the more white it has, if you've ever noticed that. I'm going to go in with my light end, my dark end, but the drawing end, and I'm going to just put a dot on the seeds. Okay, I could just put a little bit of red down here at the bottom, whatever floats my boater at the time. Okay, then I'm going to take that color lifter, and this, I think I will go with the marker end of it, and I'm just going to kind of bleed that red so that it's not a sharp line between the color, and it'll take a couple of seconds between the red and the white. And as you can see, let me go down to it again. It's starting to make that look more like a strawberry. Now, let's see. I have my light Smoky Slate. Whoops, I do want to use my brush end, but I've got my Smoky Slate, and I'm going to put that on my trowel for the metal part. There we go. And for my fork, and as you can see, it doesn't take very long to color these. Just a very few minutes. Okay, there we go. With the dark Smoky Slate, I'm going to come in and color just little bits. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of color here on this end of my fork. There we go. I am going to use the light crumb cake on the wood parts of my tools. There we go. I do want to put the dark Smoky Slate on that little bitty piece right there, that little metal piece, that covers that. Let me show you. I'm going to do the same thing on my beet, but on this one I am going to use cherry cobbler. And is this my light? Yes. Okay. And I am going to put, whoop, that end has gotten a little frayed. So I'm going to come in here. It's just a little tiny one, so it doesn't matter. And again, I'm kind of doing that flicking, but I'm pulling down. Okay, there we go. I'm going to take another green, and I don't even know what this one is. Oh, Granny Apple Green. Whoa! That's for my leaves. I want my color lifter first. I'm going to come in here and do a little bit of that color lifter. Whoa, sorry, hit the camera. To smooth that out. Okay, so that's what I did on coloring. All right, I will list all of the colors that I used down below, and let's go back up so that we can see the card. There we go. So, as I said, by the magic of TV, whoop, you know what? I didn't finish coloring my greenery, so we're going to do a little bit more of that. I've got, let's see, what do we have here? Light Granny Apple Green. So I'm going to come in here and color my leaves. And, you know, don't be too exact. Just sort of lay down a little bit of color. I should probably be using the, there we go, just for those stems. I was about to say I should be using the smaller end, but again, I'm not going to worry about it. I am just putting down some color, and then I will come in with my dark Granny Apple Green. Oh, light. Here is, no, that's Lemon Lime. Where is my dark Granny Apple? Oh, that's Old Olive. Where is it? It's got to be here somewhere. Dark Granny Apple. Here we go. And again, with the chisel end, going to come in and do some of those veins. And it just gives it that more organic or leaf look. Okay, there we go. Let's do the other green that we have out here, which is our Old Olive. Again, I want to start with my light Old Olive. And as you can see, I'm just kind of doing the side of the brush and a little bit of almost flicking on here. Okay, there we go. Come in with my dark on the chisel end. I think they did the artists did an amazing job on these vegetables, and they're small enough that it makes it easy to color, and yet it's stunning on the card. So if you remember, this is the card, okay? And what I did is I took the Everyday Arches dies, the largest one, and I cut out the card. But the way I did that, let me show you, is I took, now I am going to use a slightly different color here, but I have, again, I'm going to move you up. I have, I'll tell you the color in just a minute. I have an 8.5 by 11 sheet, and I'm going to go ahead, put the 11-inch end in here at 5.5. So half, whoa, I don't want my cutter in there. So half of 11 is 5.5, and I'm going to score this. Okay, give it a good score, then lift it up, turn it this way so I have the 8.5 end at the top, and half of 8.5 is 4.25. So I'm going to put 4.25 up there. Be sure I have it lined up against the top. This time I do want to cut. I'm going to hold this nice and sturdy as I cut. Then I'm going to lift that out. And I've got my card. And as I said, I'm going to take my Everyday Arches, the die, the largest one, and when I put it on here, I want to put it so that, I need to see this side too, so that it's just barely over the edge. When I turn it over, I do want to see, whoa, can you see it? I do want to see just the tip end of that, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and use a tape. Doesn't even matter if it's in the middle, to be honest. And tape that down so that it holds it in its place. Then I'm going to look again, make sure I can see the tip end of this, but not the cutting edge. I can see or not see. If you look on this one, you can see that the dots did go all the way around. So I just barely, this much of it is not cut. Just the tiniest little bit. So I'm going to look at it again. I'm going to put it in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And since I've had to do this again, I'll just pull it in. And I'm going to get my 1, 2, and 3 plates. These plates do come with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I am going to put my paper and my die facing down, and then I'm going to put that plate 3 on there again and roll it through. I am trying to do this in a very small space. Sorry about that. Let me go up again so you can see this a little better. Let me move these markers out of the way, or blends markers. Okay, then I'm going to roll it through. Okay, you heard that loud clack. That just means that this straight end of the die went through. Woohoo! And I am picking up, I can see, there we go, picked up some of my pieces, which I don't want to lose them. All right, so let's bring this back over here. Put everything back where it belongs. Pull this out. And you can see there's my little portion that did not cut. So it gives that arch a top. I do want to be careful in pulling this tape off. Sometimes it likes to, there it goes. I just didn't want to tear it. Okay, put my arches die back. I'm going to put you back down here. There we go. Okay, this I can just throw away. I don't need that. Okay, this I do store my plates. I do store those under the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now I will show you this, and this is one reason I didn't want to do it. It looks like this is just one piece. Oh my goodness. I don't even see 2 pages there, but we know it was because I had folded it in half. So because it cut through both of those, and it does a pretty good job of cutting, you do have to sort of bend it and fold it till you get to where you can open that up. Okay, so now I want to create my ground. And what I did, I've already done this, but what I did is I took notice how this is 2 different colors? I took the 12 by 12 of Early Espresso, couldn't think of the color, cut off 2 inches of it. Then I tore this. I'm going to go ahead and start it here. I'm not actually going to cut it, but I started, and I don't want to go exactly 1 inch because remember this is going to be 2 inches, and I just started tearing this toward me. Now, it's going to have this white core, and that's okay. That's what I want. Then, once I have these 2 torn apart, I took from the Storybook friends, I took the rock wall. Okay, now it doesn't have to look like a rock wall necessarily, but I also used the early espresso, and I just stamped on the front of that with early espresso. Then with my brush and early espresso, I took this and put ink, early espresso ink, on, pick up that ink, put it on that white edge, because you don't have a white edge to your furrow of your ground. Okay, so I wanted to give it a little bit of color, but I wanted it to be a different color than these two. You can see there's 3 different colors of early espresso there. Okay, then what I did is I want to take the 2 of these, and I'm going to glue them on in a minute. Let me close this. But I need to know how long they're going to be. Okay, so I'm going to put them on here like this, get the general idea, and I'm going to cut right here. Now I'm going to cut just a little bit longer than that, and I'll show you why we're going to do that here in just a minute. But I'm just going to cut that. I'm not even concerned anything about it, other than, you know, it does cover the whole space. Then what I'm going to do is clean this up. So, yep. Clean that up. There we go. And I'm going to glue these together. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue them together so that, here's my radish. When I have this here, I can put my radish in there and pull it out. Okay, so what we're going to do, where's my glue? Right here. This is my Tombow Mono. Put a little bit of glue on the edge here. Okay, and on the bottom, I do not want to go very high because I want to be able to put my radish in there and pick my radish when the recipient gets their card. Okay, is that clever or what? All right, so there we go. Now I'm going to do the same thing on here. I'm going to put it on. Now this is the end I cut, so that's the end I want to have ready to cut now. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on there, but I'm going to put glue. I need to mark where the glue needs to go, so here's where we're going to put it here. Okay, on the bottom again. And on this side. Now I can come up a little bit higher because I don't want anything to go that far down. And I'm going to put my ground or my furrows on here. Whoops, I do need them to go all the way down. There we go. There. Now I can cut this edge off using the edge of the card as my guide. And there we go. Now, when I put my radish in here, I'm going to give it a little bit of curl so that it's sort of poking up a little bit. And I can put my radish in there. I can put my carrot in here, something like that. There we go. Let's go ahead and put our pot on here. And I am going to glue my pot down, straight down. So I'm just going to put glue all around it. I am going to put it a little bit under the dirt. Let's come a little further over here. There we go. Okay. My strawberry. Oh, before I go any further, I want to get my balmy blue. I'm going to put balmy blue on Is this balmy blue? Yeah. Okay, so I want to put balmy blue on balmy blue, and I'm going to just put a little bit of color. I'm going to get my brush. Okay, I'm going to dab it off a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of color up here in my sky. okay, so that it has some color differentiation. When do you ever see a solid blue sky, right? So I needed to do a little bit of sky before I finish putting my plants on here. I am going to raise up my strawberry, so I do want to put a dimensional or two on there, and my strawberry is going to hang over this pot, just like that. My trowel is going to go behind there, so I'm going to put a little bit of, I needed a little bit of room under my pot. Fortunately, there was some still in there, so I'm going to put that on there. Come on, get back under there. There it goes. Okay. And I'm going to put my fork. Let's see, do I want my fork here or here? I think I want it here. And it's not going to come out like my vegetables. I know the fork should probably come out more than the vegetables, but that's okay. Whoop, get in there and stay in there. Okay, don't put my carrot under there to stay yet. There it is. Okay, there, see how my plants can still be picked. And now this is going to be a birthday card. So I have got my happy birthday, and I am going to get my cloud punch, and I'm going to stamp it, and I do want to stamp it in my balmy blue. So let's pull that out. Well, let's go this way so that we don't cut any of it off. All right. Now, I could, let's see how this works. On the other one, you see how very, very close I am on that stamp. Whoa. And I went, so what I do is I line it up and then just barely push so that if I were to, shake this or something, I'm going to go ahead and cut that. I'm going to show you what I did on the other one, though. So on here, I took half of the greeting and put it on and inked it up. And then I took the other half and inked it up, okay? I still get my carrot and my radish. Isn't that just too cute? And then, but it does actually work to have the whole thing. I think it looks better the other way, but I'm going to go ahead and do it this way. Oh well. One way or to other, right? I'm going to pull out my dimensionals. I think I'm going to put 3 on there. There we go. Pull off my backings. Okay. And put that right there. Ta-da! Isn't that just too cute? Now, I could also take, where is, here it is, Arched Wishes, Make a Wish, Cheers to Another Year of You. I kind of like that. So I might, now I haven't even used that one yet. Ooh, it might not fit. It's bigger than I thought it was. Let's see if it will fit. We will pull it out of here and see. Ta-da! Oh, it will. It will. It will. Okay. So I haven't put the backing on this one. And I haven't cut a white piece to go in here, a white arch. But I could. Okay, let's see. Let me get my block. Okay. Oh, yes. All right. We're going to go with our balmy blue again since I already have it open. And right there. How clever is that? I just love it. Okay. Aha! Cheers to another year of you. All right. Ta-da! There is our card. Don't you just love it? And this is my favorite part, that you can pick. Now, when I sent it to my cousin-in-law, it was for his birthday that I made this card. He is a gardener, and his wife, my cousin, wanted a card that, or I asked her what his hobbies were so that I could send her a card for him that had his hobby. And she said he was into gardening. And so I wanted him to be able to pick gardening vegetables this early in the year. How fun is that? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I will make a, matter of fact, we need to do that right now. Where are my envelopes? I just had them out. Well, I'll show you what I'm going to do with it is I will stamp it with Balmy Blue. Now, I used a different blue, as you can see, or green, actually, or almost blue, here for this one. So it doesn't really matter. You use, I mean, nobody's going to see both of them, you know. And so I stamped the same color with a different, this is the peas, which I didn't even use on the card, and make it your own. You know, if you would, I would so appreciate a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, if you would please do that. If you would click the bell beside that subscribe button so you'll get notifications anytime I post videos. And if you would leave a comment down below. Those are all free and they so help me spread the word. Share a video if you want, and get my videos out there so that others can see them as well. Thank you, thank you. Have a good one, and all the best to you on the rest of your day.